Hello, welcome to CotoGAMES Summoners Wars Pro in the making. Now today we have the round table and we're gonna put this monster on the table today that is going to be Karl, the Neostone Fighter. Now this guy, you are able to see the stats right now, and this guy doesn't even have 1000 additional attack, but he has really high critical damage. He is supposed to have more critical damage at this time. The runes that I have, they are not even maxed. It was just testing him with the runes that I had available. First of all, let's read over his skills and then you will see why I put so little critical rate and so much critical damage on him. The first skill is going to attack the enemy 2 times and it will increase your attack power for 2 turns. The second skill is going to increase your critical rate for 2 turns and it will attack the enemy with a powerful strike immediately. So you increase the critical rate, that will be 30% more critical rate, and with the runes I have it's gonna be 29 plus 30 is gonna be 59% critical rate. Still not good enough, but it's decent. Now the reason why I put so much critical damage and so little critical rate is because this attack, the piercing dagger, it will perform an attack that ignores all damage reduction effects, and this attack is guaranteed to land as a critical attack. So you don't even have to worry about critical rate because it will always be a critical attack. And it's going to ignore any damage reduction effect that sounds overpowered. Now when you have these skills on your hand, you want to try this monster with the best monsters ever. For example, at this moment we're gonna be making a small test and we're gonna put this guy into test for Famon to see what is the damage that he's going to deal with these stats that I have. I'm gonna go with Galleon to get the defense break and the attack buff, and I'm gonna go with Camilla so I can give Karl more turns with the attack buff. Also, Amarna is going to be here, so in case that my Galleon doesn't defense break, then Amarna is going to be a second defense break. And you're able to see these runes and pause the video at any time if you need to see the runes. It's going to be really nice and really cool to use this guy in Arena and also in World Arena as well. And also in guild battles. When you read the skills, you just see that this monster is going to be overpowered. So let's go ahead and keep it on and let's go for the match now. Right, so we got the defense break and we got the attack buff. We're gonna test the third skill that is always going to land as a critical attack. So what's gonna be the damage with these guys? Remember, these guys, they have a lot of defense. So the hit was for 34,000 damage. And that's very good, taking into consideration that they do have a lot of defense. Now, for situations like this, these are the situations for which I brought these 2 cleansers, because they will be targeting any of my monsters and I don't want to waste too much time in this. So now we're going to test the second skill. It's going to increase the critical rate for 2 turns and it's going to attack the enemy right away. So 23,000 damage on the second skill. That is really good indeed, that is really good. So now we just need to test the first skill. And the first skill, let's see if we land the crit, because remember our critical rate is really low. It's 29% plus 30, 59%. So let's see if we can land the crit. And after we land the crit, 7,000 damage per hit if you land a critical rate hit. So that's very good. Even if you don't have him just for his last skill, using him with the first skill with decent amount of critical damage is going to be really fun, because he does deal good damage even though it is not ignoring any damage reduction effects. So now let's go ahead and put the test into Arena. We're gonna test the damage reduction effect. If it is possible, we're gonna go ahead and attack Camilla, because Camilla has this passive that will reduce any damage that is critical damage to her by half. So we're gonna give it a try. And whoever gets the defense broken here is gonna be the one receiving the hit from Karl, because we just want to see what is the damage on regular monsters, or monsters that you face every day in Arena. Right, so we get first of all Bernard with the speed buff to get the first turn, and we got the defense break. And something very important is that this lady, the Neostone agent, she does have a shield, and the shield is also a damage reduction effect. So let's hit her with the piercing dagger skill. And it's supposed to ignore the damage reduction effect from the shield. So if I'm not mistaken, then it will hit through the shield. And the damage went 29,000 damage. So that's for sure that card is able to hit through the shield. But this is the shield from the runes. So how about if we test card and we see if the damage is going to go through shields activated by monsters' passives. For example, Khum, Molly, Rina, any type of shield that is not an actual shield from the runes, like Enma's shield as well. So I just went here. I didn't even go for the attack buff because I'm planning to give the buff with Konami here or with Shasun, and I got the cleansers just in case, right? So now he does have the shield from Khum, and the damage is going to be 37,000 damage. So that means that yes, he's able to ignore the shield regardless if it is from the runes or from other monsters. So that's really amazing. Now we need to keep testing him. So the next test is gonna be the invincibility from Chloe. So invincibility, it's a damage reduction effect. So we're gonna be able to hit really hard any of these monsters. It's a really nice test because there's a Grego, there's a Groggo here, there's a Diaz, and they do have very kinky passive. So let's go ahead and have a look and see. The damage is only 2000 and something, but the damage went through the invincibility. Now let's go ahead and have a look again. It's gonna be a little bit slower. The damage, it activates Groggo's passive. There you go. And also you can see here that it also activates Diaz passives. So what's going on here? Isn't that a damage reduction effect? So let's go ahead and try to see if we can get other combinations. Reading in the skill of Diaz, it says that it decreases the chances of receiving a critical hit by 50% and reduces the damage that other allies takes by 15%. It says clear that it's a damage reduction effect, and it doesn't stack with any other damage reduction effect. So basically, something must be wrong, but it may be a glitch or something of the game because all of these three monsters together. So let's go ahead and try to make another test and make sure of what's going on. The attack is guaranteed to land as a critical attack, that is for sure. So Molly, Diaz, Acroma, stuff with with critical reduction will not work. Even Betta's buff will not work. So now we put the oblivion into Diaz, and we're gonna hit this guy, and the damage is gonna be 40,000 damage. That is really good, and that is because it's 40,000 damage. We need to make the test now. It's gonna be the test in which we're gonna hit the same guy without the oblivion. It's gonna be within the same fight. I do appreciate the help of my friend Zyrod. I don't really know how to pronounce that. He's one of the guildmates, and he was willing to help me with this, and I do appreciate his cooperation and helping me out with this video in this situation here. Right, so now we got the buff. It's really confusing because you actually want to build card to be able to one-shot certain monsters. That's the only reason why, because it says on the third skill that you actually want to have you're gonna have a damage reduction removed. It's basically like having a single target illusion, not ignoring defense but ignoring the damage reduction effects. Now without the oblivion, he's dealing 38,000. It's still in 38,000 because the attack power went up as the fight was longer, but still is activating the passive. So now this time we're gonna be testing the damage reduction effect on Camilla. So far Karl is really good as a single target nuker, but the activation of the damage reduction effect is not really, it's really activating, so it's not really cooperating. The monster's description doesn't match with what is going on the screen. So now we're gonna hit this Camilla with the first skill without oblivioning her first, and then we're gonna try to oblivion Camilla and see if the damage is going to be activated. The damage is 16,000 damage. That's really good considering that Camilla's passive says that when you're struck with a critical hit, it will reduce the critical damage by half. So that means that the damage will be around 31 to 32,000 with the Oblivion. So taking into consideration that um, this is a single target nuker, when the runes are better runes, he's gonna be dealing more than 60,000 damage. These runes that I have at the moment, they are not really good. They just have a little bit of critical damage, some speed, and I just focus on critical damage, attack, and speed. He doesn't have a lot of attack because the runes are just plus 12, but he has decent attack subs. So now, let's see if we can get to hit this Camilla. No, and now she removed the. Let's see if we can hit this Camilla with Oblivion, with defense break, and with the attack buff if it is possible. So let's see if we can get it. Right, we put the Oblivion, and now we hit with the first. We got the attack buff. That's great. Now we don't need to kill you. There you go. Now we have everything all set. It's just one turn, and we're gonna be able to see if we are able to, if it is gonna be the same amount of damage, basically. Right, so now it is up to you, and Karl is hitting for 32,000 damage. So basically, yes, the damage reduction effects, they are activating. These passives, they are activating. Side road, thank you very much again for helping me with this. And now I also wanted to test something else. I wanted to test if the defense buff, it's going to be affecting the damage that you deal. Yes, I wanted to test that because maybe the defense that is applied to the monster will be making a difference on the damage. And this time my friend Shidoken, it's helping me with this. We're gonna be landing the attack on Eladriel, and then we're gonna be able to see what's the damage with defense break and what is the damage without with defense break, and what is the damage with defense buff. So that was a very decent amount of damage, 28,000. Yeah, that was a very good amount of damage. Now let's go ahead and do the test with the defense buff. We will have the defense break, we will have the attack buff, but now Eladriel is going to have a defense buff. So we're gonna be able to see what is going to be the amount of damage. Alright? Alright, here we go. Now Megan is gonna move and it's gonna give her it's gonna give Eladriel the defense buff. And the damage is going to be, come on, and the damage is going to be about the same. Yeah, it's going to be about the same. So basically it's very good that it is ignoring any damage reduction beneficial effects that the monsters have. Is it? We're gonna be checking on the runes real quick so you will have an idea of the stats of this Eladriel, and you will see why, comparing the stats of my card and the Eladriel, you will see if it is a decent amount of damage or if it would have been a better amount of damage. This Eladriel has 30,000 HP and it has 600 and something additional defense. You can pause the video anytime if you need to see the runes. So indeed, it was a very decent amount of damage. Now there's one last test that we need to make, and it's the Theomars test. We need to see if the skill, the piercing dagger skill, is going to be able to one-shot Theomars, because that is a beneficial effect that is put on the monster. So now it is just a test. So I do appreciate very much Mongoose for giving me a hand in this and helping me with this. It's another of my guildmates. Now the damage is gonna be with the third skill. Let's see if we pop the endure or if we killed it. Alright, we popped the endure. So now we're gonna be making another test. We're gonna be making the test of how about if Theomars already has the endured activated and then we hit it with Karl. What is gonna be the result? Will Karl be able to one-shot Theomars? Not one shot, but will Karl be able to kill Theomars through the endure? It's gonna be something that we have to see right now. Right, so we go ahead and put the defense buff, the defense break, and also we put the attack buff. We were not able to do that, but let's go ahead and pop up the endure real quick. And now it's gonna be the moment of truth, And the piercing dagger skill is dealing for 38,000 damage, but it's not killing Theomars. So after everything we have seen, um, is it worth the 6-star card? Well, card, you were able to see that this card is dealing a very decent amount of damage. He's a very good single target nuker. And even on the second skill, he was dealing 22,000 damage. And with the first skill, he was dealing 7,000 damage for each pop. And even there were times in which he was able to deal 10,000 per hit on the first skill. So basically, he's a very good single target nuker. It is really good to have a 100% critical rate guarantee regardless of the enemy's attribute, regardless of any skill on the enemy. But it's really sad that the third skill doesn't work the way it's supposed to be. I hope Come to Us will be able to get this fixed, because this monster, it is one of the best monsters out there in the game. If it is something that is related to the translation, please get the translation fixed, because there are many guys with high expectations to 6-star these monsters out there. Now guys, I do thank you very much for being here on the round table with me. Until the next episode, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day.